Yo guys, starting the stream. How's the music sound? Is it too loud? Or is it right? Just wait for a few people to join. How's everyone's day going? Yeah, anyone catch the sales on EU earlier? Some clean sales today. This one wanted to get in just there, but it didn't come back, and there was a sell here. Took an L in this as well. We'll go over all of them. And we'll also go over the sell I got in here last night. If this sell holds, this will be best trade I think I would have ever taken. I got in, yeah, just there on this 1 minute candle, and if that holds, I would want to hold that all the way to the low. Obviously partial out, just leave 10% on. Cool, alright, we've got a few people in, let's start. Right, anyone got any questions as well? If you have any questions, always just feel free to ask. Alright, so sells this morning. Let's go over price. Right, thought process. We have taken all the internal range liquidity of this range, just here. We do have this 4-hour extreme that realistically I would have hoped for it to come into and drop, but it doesn't necessarily have to, because it's taken all that liquidity there. It still is very much valid to just drop from where it is. Doesn't have to come up to the extreme. It's taken the liquidity now, and it can just drop. So what I did see was, we'll go over the sell from last night first actually. What I saw was this POI here. So it was a 1 minute POI, resting above all of this liquidity. It was an extreme just here, has its own inducement. I mean, this is enough. This is enough inducement for this POI, but this is a perfect POI. Look, took liquidity. The origin of this breaker structure, unmitigated, and has inducement. This is a perfect POI. So my thought process kind of is, well, if we do get a reaction from here, it's valid to take, because it's above this liquidity, and if it is going to drop, it will either drop from here or it will just come up to this 4-hour extreme and drop from there. So let's go over. Right. Let's bring it back. Okay, so structure and order flow are two separate things. People call order flow a number of things, but you can just call it internal range structure, minor structure, substructure, whatever they call it. It's all the same fucking thing. This is internal range structure of this whole range. You can see we come up, we come down, we come up. This isn't a low, this isn't a low, this isn't a low, this isn't a low, this is the low. Why? Because this was the last low before we broke the high. Was the low before we broke the high. You see we come up there, 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 here, and here. So until this gets broken, we don't have a 15-minute change of character. Structure is still bullish. This is internal range liquidity. This is a demand extreme. We could just see a reaction that goes off. But I was playing the order flow from this POI here, thinking that we still do have room to come down and grab this liquidity into this demand if it wanted to go up. Obviously it is a bit risky because we're playing into the flip and it could always go up, but I saw we've taken liquidity to the left, all of that liquidity that was resting here, we've now created equal highs, liquidity, taken more liquidity, spiked up, and we spiked down. So when this happens, that's when I like to play order flow over structure, is when we take out the liquidity. So let's jump into the second time frame. Took an L in here as well. Right, so I saw we had this change of character from our POI. This is a flip of this demand here. Supply chain, unmitigated. What do we have? What do we have here? Liquidity resting above. A thing with liquidity as well is that, like, you can see here that this is a trend line, and you go, oh no, it's already swept the trend line. Liquidity can come in the form of supply chains as well, so it doesn't have to be necessarily a perfect straight trend line. It can be from here to there to here to there, and you see that will go, it's just all around there. It's not going to be a straight line all the time. You just can pretty much see that supply was holding here. We have an unmitigated POI up here. We broke structure here, leaving all of this liquidity. This is all not going to be used now as inducement. Why? Because we broke structure here. People will be seeing these order blocks, this one, I think we're going to be selling. So what I do want to see is a move up into this and then change in order flow. Like I said over there, takes liquidity, order flow switches, we get in on that order flow switch. So the first position was valid. Let's have a look. So right, thought process. It doesn't quite tap into the POI here, but we do take all the internal range liquidity that was being used as inducement. So it is definitely valid to drop from here if it wants to. It doesn't necessarily have to tap into this POI. If I get a nice setup here, then I'll take it. Let's have a look. Yeah, it didn't quite tap into it, but it's a space of 0.1 pip on another broker that might have spiked into it, you know. So what did I see here? We see, because this isn't really, I mean, it isn't extreme, but I wouldn't be taking the first 5-second shock here. If price came all the way up here and it didn't have any room to go up, then I'd take the first 5-second shock. But you can see here, all of this room, I'd want to take a 1-minute shock from there. So you can see here Have a chock, but don't like that. Don't like playing that. It's not really a very clear POI up here. No structural liquidity. Supply. Right, now what do we have? Inducement. We have inducement. There was no liquidity created. Liquidity's been created. This zone. You could just enter off this zone and wait for the drop, or you could wait for 5 second chock. What we'll do is wait for the 5 second chock. This is a very valid entry. You see how we took liquidity. Took the liquidity of the range. Didn't quite tap into the POI, but it was just missed by a little bit, so we pretty much did. Started to break down then. Now we're playing the sweep. We're anticipating that sweep. What have we got to target as well? Equal lows. Another confluence. Yo, Mike. Captain. Tie man. No, not quite a tie man, mate. Love your Telegram channel, bro. Cheers, bro. Tie man. Do I sound Thai then? That's funny, man. Anyway, right. So this is a valid supply. You see order flow, take liquidity, order flow keeps breaking down. Inducement, POI. This is when I take first 5 second chock. That's what I was talking about a second ago. Look. When I take first 5 second chock here, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't tap into any like refined POI. The zone's too big. You see, look at the size of this zone. So if we get a 5 second chock from here, it's not got any room to move up. It's not got any room to go. So if I am anticipating for this to hold, and the first 5 second chock that comes into here, there's no room for it to go up. That's when I take 5 second chocks. So this level breaks. So I'd have myself above this high. I got in a little bit lower, but just because I missed this first entry because I hesitated. But that, if that breaks this, then that's this. There you go, in the trade. Valid. Very valid trade. This is a chock. No one from IG, bro. This morning, remember? This morning? Oh, you AJ? You AJ? Anyway, right, so this... You always got your... Why was that cost? It didn't make a lower high, right? Oh, yo AJ. You're from Thai? Oh man, I love Thailand. It's my favourite place in the world. Spent some time there in 2020. I fucking love that place, man. Yeah, Dimitri. Alright, what are you, Dimitri, are you talking about the 5 second chock here? This one. Here. This one. If you are talking about this 5-second shock here. Is music too loud as well, or is it alright? If you're talking about this 5-second shock here, it did make a lower high and a lower low, or higher. Yeah, 5 second. All right. Right. Look. How you're asking how this is a chock? Well, this is when you need to look at your candlesticks, and instead of going, this is cleaner. Why is that a chock though? It didn't pull back. Look. Let's go no-gap candles. This is a chock. Look, we come in, we take the inducement. Same thing as we did before. We wait for the liquidity to be swept and order flow to change. What happens here? I just read this on the 5-second chart instead. We have a demand here. Reaction from that demand, break. The structure goes up, like this. Like that. See how that's a chock? Like that. See how, look, demand respected. We hit our POI, and what happens? Chock. Flip, and respects the flip. But I just enter on a break of that. I hope that makes sense. You like the music? Yeah, it's nice, man. It's relaxing. It's chilled. Alright, yeah. This one, what is that? This trade didn't actually work. This one didn't work. You can see, very valid entry. Very valid entry. I'd take that all day long. Nothing wrong with that. Just wanted to obviously go a little bit higher. So, right, what do I see here? We have our structure now. This high. What happens? We didn't quite tap into our POI, so it's still valid. Liquidity induced. And then what did I see? I didn't want to jump in at this, say, this minor chock, or this chock, because it could have just been internal liquidity go before going. I wanted to see a proper breaker structure because of how this is delivered. Bit more commitment to the downside than I wanted to get in, and this was actually taken on the 1 minute. We don't even need the seconds for this, but I'll go down to the seconds to make it clearer. So what do we have? Right, there we go. Liquidity has been taken. Liquidity induced. We come up. We create more liquidity. What happens? We chock. Like that. Just like that. Simple stuff. Liquidity to target still. More liquidity. Let me just mark it out for you. This is the change of character here. You could have also played this. It's a little bit more aggressive, this. But you could have seen liquidity been taken into your POI. A chock here. Come up and like a 5-second chock there and played that down. I think Fractal Markets, I saw that on his IG last night. He goes over 5 seconds. I always wait for a lower, higher wick than the previous candle. If you get what I mean. Cheers though. Yeah, I kind of get what you mean, man. But like, it's structure. It's structure in it. So you see how it didn't really look that clear on the 5 second, but you can see on the 1 second how that was a chock. See, demand failed. at our zone. It's just fractal stuff, you know. It's literally the same thing we're all doing. We're doing liquidity taken, chalk, get involved on the order flow on the way down. Probably always use buy, sell, stop orders, or no limit orders. Limit orders, but I'm usually market execute, to be honest. Mainly market execute. Anyway, right. So this trade. So I saw we had the liquidity taken into our POI like this. Liquidity. This is our whole structure. Bing bing, like that, like that, like that, like that. We have 1 minute zone there, like this. Now, if you really want, you could look to confirm this zone on the 5 second, which I'm not sure if it actually did or not, but I just ended on the 1 minute. Yeah, I understand it. Cool. Just like that. And it tapped in perfectly. It was perfect, like that. And we drop. Yeah. So that, if this runs all the way to the low, this will be like, I think, my best trade. Obviously, it's not being held full volume. Jesus Christ, wouldn't make any money if you did that. But yeah, that'd be pretty mad if it holds. If it holds, we're sitting at the moment. It's looking alright. It's looking alright. Not too bad. Sitting at like 22 at the moment. Just delete it. I don't like that mess on my charts. But anyway, right. So now we'll go over this morning's price action. This morning's price action was clean. Let's switch up the music, man. What's this? Can't play any fucking copyright stuff. What's this? Let's have a little look at this. Okay. Alright, yeah, any questions? Any questions? I'm going to move on to this morning. Right, so we took the liquidity and what happened? Order flow switched bearish. Yeah. We took equal highs. We changed character. We break structure. $15-minute, look. Bang, bang, change character. What's this? What's all of this? Liquidity, trend line, liquidity, supply chain liquidity, however you want to call it. So I like to look for POIs above that liquidity, because I don't want to be trading in it. It's most likely going to run it. When I like to see liquidity being ran, I like to see it all in one push rather than it going like trickling up there. So right, we had this POI up here, we had this one here, this whole kind of zone. This is more of a refined one, but we have this zone there. It looks like it's melting now. Thought process was we have this 1 minute extreme. Now I don't like taking, say, like a 5 second chop straight off of this. I like to see a little bit more development in price. For example, here I wouldn't just take this first 5-second shock. I know some people do. What some people do is they like to have their 1 minute zones, and then they'll play a 5-second shock from their 1 minute zone. But I'm just not. I don't know. My trading style is not that aggressive. I like to see a bit more structure in play rather than just entering off of zones. First 5-second shock. But anyway, so we come into the zone, we take all the liquidity. So realistically, if price starts to break down, then we're game for sells. What did see was this. I know Lisboa and someone else fire and got in the shorts here. But this is what I was thinking. This is my thought process here. Obviously, this is our structure here, from here to here. Thought process was, well, we've taken the liquidity, so now I've taken the liquidity into our zone. I'm more favouring order flow over structure. Okay. What is structure showing me here? Go into the 30-second, it might be a bit clearer. Right. Here. Come into the demand extreme. Yeah? So at this point wasn't really looking for shorts around there, obviously. With your conservative entry versus aggressive entries. Yeah, I mean, you're always gonna have a better RR with conservative entries. You know, if you wait for price to develop, you know, if you aren't just sitting on the 5-second chart all day and you're sitting on, say, the 1 minute and using the 5-second to confirm your 1 minute zones, then you're gonna have a better strike rate. Right, so liquidity being built in the range. All right, I knew there was a possibility of us turning around from this price. All right, so yes, our structure here is bullish. It is bullish, but now, in my mind, I can also see the possibility of playing shorts, because order flow has now switched bearish within our range from this high time frame POI after taking liquidity. So what I saw was this internal range liquidity could just be a sweep into the extreme like this for higher prices, but this failed to break this, and it could have just gone this, it could have just done that. It's very valid to just come down and go like that, but what I was more seeing it as was, I think there's a nice 15-second POI here. Yeah, because I was looking to follow the bearish order flow down. What do we wait for? We wait for liquidity to be taken. Liquidity was taken, and order flow realignment. Yeah. Here, you could argue that price took liquidity, order flow realigned bullish, and you could have taken that. So you can kind of play in this range. Like, I can see both ways. I can see both buys and sells, but because my bias was sells, I'd be more favouring, say, this. You know, this failed to break this high, took liquidity, and then broke down at a level where I'm looking to short for, and I'm expecting shorts. So what I wanted to see was this level broken like that, and then move up. And there was a 1 minute POI that I wanted to get in on. It could have gone either way, as this took liquidity and it could have gone up, and this took liquidity and it could have gone down. But obviously I was more favouring the short scenario. So I wanted to get in on this 1 minute POI there. Why? Because it's a flip, part of a supply chain. I wanted to get in just there, but price didn't come back. Now, so yeah, that's fine. Missed the move. Not always gonna get in it. Doesn't matter. It don't fucking matter. There's gonna be tons more moves. Tons more moves. Right. So now we have a full structure break. All right. So now I'm confident in sells. Now I want to sell. There's no kind of guesswork. We've now actually switched 15-minute structure after taking the liquidity within the range. It could always come up to the extreme, definitely it could do that, but let me change song. It could always do that. It could always come up to the extreme, but it doesn't have to. You know, if structure's telling you it's bearish, then short. You know, there's no it doesn't have to come up and mitigate it. This could be used for inducement another time. You know, if we're breaking down after we're in premium of the range, after taking liquidity, I'm shorting. So what I saw was, first of all, I missed this right, this whole flip zone. I missed this continuation trade earlier. One of the guys in the chat got it, but it was clean. It was nice. So flip, we have flip here, just here. 15-second chart, continuation. It's probably clear on the 5-second actually. Let's have a look, let's have a look, let's have a look. There we go. Right. So obviously this flip, you've got to be aware of something, is that it hadn't built any structural liquidity. Yeah, so when it does move away like this is still valid for me, but we'll go over that in a minute. We had this POI here, this one right here. What becomes our low? That chuck. Take the high, take liquidity into a POI, and what happens when we take liquidity into a POI? We want to see order flow realignment, which was there here, but I want to see a proper structure break like this, because this could have always just gone like this and respected the structure like that. But now there was a chock. It's pretty bearish. Taking liquidity into the POI, realigned with our higher time frame bias. We have our leg here. We realign bearish. So if this now comes in bearish, that's 3 structures all aligned in bearish. 1 bearish leg, 2 bearish leg after taking liquidity. Now what happens here? It's not the best because it's not at an extreme, but it is at a flip. So this flip, come in, what happens? Chock there, short position, like that, 1 pip stop, but I'd probably have mine a little bit higher. I'd be trying to hold that to this low, but as you can see, didn't quite work out, and that's fine. That's fine. The entry is perfect. Execution was there. Just didn't want to go lower. Right, thought process for the next opportunity was, this was nice. This was really nice. I think P got in on this. This was real nice. So, right, no structural liquidity here. what happens? Structural liquidity is now created. Yeah? So now this POI has inducement for it. What do we want to see? What do we want to see? We want to have our POI. We want to see liquidity taken into our POI and a change in order flow. Yeah? So look. That's what we want to see. Liquidity engineered before our POI. Liquidity taken. Change in order flow. Entry. There. Makes sense? Simple stuff. Because there was no liquidity in this leg, this is the liquidity for it. So we come up here, induce early sellers. Oh, we're going to be selling from this level. No. Bang. And this was 1 minute. You could do this on the 1 minute. We have break. You have chock. Order flow realignment after taking liquidity into our POI. Entry on 1 minute. Or you could have entered on the actual whole push up like that. That's fair enough. Both zones are valid. One's just a bit more aggressive. Yeah, or what you could have done is, if you want to look to confirm your 1 minute zones, this is what I like to do with like the 5 second or something. You use the 5 second to confirm, or you can use the 5 second to confirm your 1 minute zones. So you see here we have our 1 minute zone, we have our push up, which would really, this is our whole supply range. So we have supply range, this is all internal liquidity. This is our whole supply range, but this would be our refined 1 minute POI that I was talking about earlier. So yeah, you could literally just take the first 5 second chock off of that, like that, if you want to be a bit more aggressive with it. As soon as it comes down here, market execute or limit, stop above the high, and there's your 1 minute zone confirmed. You know, it could always come up like that and stop you out, which is why it is more aggressive. If it's there on the 1 minute, I like to take it on the 1 minute, to be honest, just so stress free, because it could always just come up, drop, and leave you. But no, this was nice entry. So if you would have got the 5 second chock, or just entered on, let's say, the 1 minute zone up here, both were nice. And targeting the low and the low. Either one of these, if you would have gotten on the 1 minute, you could have got a nice, is that 1 to 18 trade. I mean, come on, like, it sorts you out for a month. If you would have gotten the 5 second, I'm pretty sure it would have been about the same. It would have been 1 to 20. Yeah. Yeah. So that was a really clean trade this morning. That was really clean. Obviously, you would have taken partials, and depending on where you would have had your break even set, or you wanted to take full TP. Usually what I like to do, I like to take my profits, like a lot of people say, like under lows and target lows, but I like to target just before the low. I'm not trying to be greedy with it, because it could always do exactly what I did here and create equal lows or respect the extreme demand and move up, you know, for the sake of like a couple of pips, you know. It'll just save you a lot of moments like that where it bounces and doesn't quite hit. So that was that one, and obviously you see it came down and didn't quite follow through. So right, next one, which was an L, took an L. Is there any questions as well? Feel free to ask. I'll go over some like liquidity stuff after as well, after we brought down price. Just give it a second, see if there's any questions. The stream's a bit delayed. Alright, no questions. Good. Right. So, thought process here in this trade wasn't the best, but it's kind of just like wanting to get in on the move. So, no questions there, cool. So yeah, we have liquidity, we create equal lows, which in turn creates liquidity. This just makes our target a lot better, a lot more of a confluence that these lows are going to go. So we have our POI here, and the thing is that like if you're not following order flow and you want to see a structure break to short here, you can see how we have structure like this, look, like that, and now we have a bullish break. Yeah, so this is very possible for it to come up and go like that and just bounce off of it, but this is why I want to follow order flow down, because by the time this now bullish structure has broke, it's already hit the target. So you want to be following order flow down. If you're bearish, if that's your bias, your bearish bias, then you want to follow that order flow down, which is what I was looking to do here. So I saw this as a potential sweep, although it's a bullish break. I was anticipating this to be a sweep, and then if we follow the order flow down. So let's go to the 1 minute. So right, this no entry here, no entry. It just wanted to drop apparently. Right, so this whole leg here, this is what I was seeing. I saw this to this as being, it's not one swing, but it's valid to drop from here, because you can see there's no structural liquidity within this leg. Yeah, we create that liquidity there, so that's preferably where I'd like to sell from, that zone. Although structure is like this zone is still valid for me, because this is just inducement for that. So valid zone. Not the best zone. This isn't the best zone, to be honest. It has a little bit of inducement, but this is like more internal range liquidity, or rather than like actual inducement. You see how this is inducement, structural liquidity, because we create structure around a POI, whereas this, it's not structure, it's internal range structure. This is an internal range structure of this swing. This is structure, and this is the liquidity, if that makes sense. Quick comment, cheers to the stream. Is it rewatchable? Yeah, I think it's rewatchable. When it ends, just send me a message if it's not, and I'll put it up on the chat. Right. Cheers for coming to the stream though, man. Appreciate it. So yeah, right, what we're seeing was we have that liquidity there. Just like this. I wouldn't take first 5 second chalk because I don't trust it. I'd be more aggressive in this zone if I saw like a 1 minute break and then down. Some people have their 1 minute zones and then they'll be taking their first 5 second chalk from that zone. I get that, it's just I just don't like to do that personally. Yeah, so some people would have got in on this as they see this level, that level just there of demand break, so they would have market executed and already been in this trade, but I wanted to see a bit more development. Okay, yeah, that's why. So now we have a bit of actual structure formed. And what I saw was we come up, sweep the high, and we chock to the downside. I don't really like this chock. It's a wick. There's nothing in there, so I wouldn't be taking anything as of yet. You can see it comes to mitigate, and now, like I said before about structural liquidity, this here, that's valid. This is the supply extreme. This is valid. This is now structural liquidity. This is still valid POI if you want to follow supply chain, but this is valid. This is valid to be taken. Just like this. Just like a POI from here. Structural liquidity. Broke structure. Broke structure. Same shit. Different time frame. So what was it? What did I? That was it. This was it. Okay, right. So now I wouldn't have just taken this POI if it come up like that. I wouldn't have taken that. I would have at least wanted to see like a 5 second chock here, and then I would have taken that. But the reason why I had a bit more confidence in this zone now potentially holding was because I saw this liquidity created before our zone. Alright, cool. Right, you should be able to hear me. Can you guys hear me now? I think my internet just went. Put it in the chat if you can hear me. Alright, I'm assuming you guys can hear me. Anyway, yeah, cool. Cheers, Big Mike. Big Mike. Anyway, right, yeah, so what gave me more kind of confidence in this zone holding was we saw liquidity. This could just be used as a mitigation for this high up here. This liquidity being built before our POI equal highest, bang. What do we want to see? We want to see an order flow shift and then down. What do we see? 5 seconds. Oh, that's a bit messy. We come up, come down, come up. Now, order flow shift. Ready? I want to see that. 2 pip stop. 2 pip stop isn't bad. I don't really care about like having a 1 pip stop or having a certain amount of pip rule for a stop loss. You know, if it depends what structure's telling me. If structure's telling me it's going to be a 3 pip stop, then I mean I'll take it. If I'm on the 1 minute time frame and it's telling me it's going to be a 4 pip stop, then I'll take it. You know, it just depends on your targets. You know, like for me, for example, like here, if we took it above this high, if we wanted to be really conservative, we know it could always bounce. Price could always bounce from like this zone or this zone. So that's why I want to be more conservative on like a 5 second entry. But you can see that our target, if you want to be a bit more conservative, it's still a 1 to 6. You know, fucking perfect. But I like to see that. It makes it a 1 to 10. So yeah, saw that. Oh no, I didn't get entered here. Where did I enter? I entered once I saw the chalk. So it wasn't this one, it was this one here. Stop above there. Did it enter? Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. This one. Right. That's to me that's an alright entry. That's not too bad. The only thing I don't like is obviously these breaks here, and the POI are actually coming from. But I mean, it's valid. It's, you know, it's, what do? We take liquidity. It's not that much liquidity, but we're following order flow. Yeah, this is our supply extreme of this leg. We have liquidity resting above our POI. We come to our POI, sweep into it as well, and then we break down. We break down twice. Yeah, I didn't like this first break, but now we broke demand twice. I quite liked it. Didn't want to play this zone. Saw liquidity created. Then I was more confident in this zone holding. Otherwise, I would have been taking something from here at the extreme. Liquidity created, liquidity taken into our POI extreme, order flow shift all the way down. That's my bread and butter. That is same shit, different day. But you can see, went down a little bit, but then it stopped me out. Came to the supply extreme instead, wiped that out as well. So yeah, because this could have just been, what the fuck is this music? Change that. This could have just been creating like liquidity. It's not as strong because like this didn't break anything. Nonetheless, there's still a little bit of liquidity in there. So I mean, a 5 second chalk in there wouldn't have been too bad of a trade. But you can see, come up, we come down, come up. I'd like to see that level. Go to the 1 second, see what that looks like. Yeah. So it didn't actually produce, in my eyes, it didn't produce a chalk. You could have taken this if you was wanting to get in. Maybe I might have taken that, I'm not sure. But either way, it spiked the high again. Stopped me out, used me as liquidity, and then it ran, and it melted. El Meltito. Directional bias, correct. Execution, not bad. Just wanted to fucking hell, it's melting properly now. It just obviously wanted to stop me out a little bit more. It's a bit messy price action. This is not clear. Can't really. It's alright looking at it in hindsight, but once I saw like this high be broken, I mean, potentially this wouldn't have been a bad trade. This, but like the structure's still all messy here. It's all line all messy. You could have possibly argued that this supply is still holding. Producer chalk to the downside, like here. POI inducement, take the first 5-second chalk there, but it's not high probability personally. I don't know, it just looks a bit messy to me. Alright. You want to go over anything else? Any liquidity stuff? POIs? Anything? I'm probably here for another 10 minutes maybe?
Check it. Like, I'm a heartbroken you. You claim that your heart's broken too. Shit, man, I got my heart broken too. I'm in a 2.2 on the M-way, do not disturb and I blast them views. Redemption's on my mind when I fit by the pain. Guess now my heart's frozen too. I'm a heartbroken you. You claim that your heart's broken too. Shit, man, I got my heart broken too. I'm in a 2.2 on the M-way, do not disturb and I blast them views.
If there's no questions, I'm just gonna end the stream. It's I mean, it's 4 o'clock on a Friday. Not really gonna be doing anything else now. Prices are gonna die out. Volume's gonna die out. So yeah. Can you show your Koch confirmation on the 1 minute? Yeah, sure. What, from today? The 1 minute Koch from earlier today, yeah? I assume that's what you're talking about. If you're talking about this 1 minute Koch. Yep. Alright. The confirmation, yeah, sure. Well, higher time frame bias. Took liquidity all the way from the 4 hour. You look on the 4 hour time frame, we took all that liquidity, we come into an extreme and we chopped. What's this doing? Realigning, order flow realigning after we take that liquidity. Same shit happening here. Look, liquidity engineered after we break structure. This is internal range liquidity. We come up, want to see an order flow switch after we take the liquidity. Doesn't necessarily come into the supply extreme, but it does take all the liquidity within the range, so it's definitely valid to start moving down. So what do we have here? We take the liquidity, order flow, then switches here, break structure, flip POI. Yeah, this is a flip, supply flip, supply flip there. No liquidity was created in this leg. This is important. This is very very important. No liquidity was created within this leg. Yeah. So not as confident in this POI, but now I see this break. That's structural liquidity to me, like that. Was no liquidity created for the POI. Now there is. Now we have liquidity for a POI. So if it comes back, bang, straight down. Liquidity created there. You want it to be like this. Look, this is as simple as it is. Look, you have your POI there. No liquidity in this leg, so I'm not going to take it like that and then just take a trade like that. I'm going to wait for liquidity to be engineered, like that, and then look. That's all it is. You have your POI, liquidity before the POI, order flow switch there.
I've been trying to recover, but this soul tight shit been driving me insane. I'm in a passion to see and the doors are locked, so I can't get out like I just got detained. I tried breaking the glass, but I didn't get far. Now I've got 4 5 up to my brain. She told me don't make
On this. Alright, yeah, so liquidity was created. No liquidity. Liquidity created. Even more liquidity created here. Like that. Look, people selling. People see that. They go, oh, this is inducement. Let's sell, sell, sell. Look at the strong move down. Like, sell, 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 sell. So everyone's selling. All their stops are above here, above here, above here. They see this trend line. They're going to be trying to sell this trend line. So this whole zone, liquidity sitting there. What happens? We take liquidity, and like I say, we want to see that order flow shift. Where does that order flow shift come in? There, this wick here. We come up, we come down like that. Chock. We come up, we come down. Look. This POI. You can take the whole range, to be honest, because you can see this is a whole buy to sell. Or you could just refine it to this candle like that. I always cover the high. I don't see any point taking that as a stop loss. Yeah, you could have taken that candle if you wanted to be a bit safer, like that. So yeah, ask yourself before trade. You want to see your POI induced after liquidity's been taken. You want to see an order flow realignment with your higher time frame structure and your higher time frame bias. If you're bearish and you see all the liquidity been taken and you see price realign bearish, then you want to follow order flow then. It doesn't always have to be structural. It doesn't always have to be structural liquidity. I like it to be structural liquidity, but it doesn't always have to be. You can have like the thing is liquidity, right? So no liquidity in the leg. If I want to take this POI, yeah. If I want to take this POI, right? Hold on. Let me take it back. Right. For example, this. If we're talking about like structural liquidity, it didn't come up and then break like that, or it didn't go like this. But this is enough liquidity to take that chock. It's just sometimes when I see like lower time frame, for example, I see price move like this sharp, then you know, and this leg now has no liquidity in, like that. Structural liquidity, technically, to me, it is when something breaks like that and then you come up like that. This is structural liquidity because it broke structure. It's part of structure, isn't it? It's part of order flow, it's structure. But what you do have is like internal range liquidity, like that. You see, this is all one leg. You have internal range liquidity. So instead of it going up, creating more structure and coming down, it creates that internal range structure like that. I'm not really doing a good job explaining that, but I hope it makes sense. Yeah, it's very subjective. It's very subjective. And once you see it 100 times, you'll start to kind of understand it. Yes, I'll understand that a bit better. But there's different scenarios in which I'd want to see like liquidity engineered. You know, if we have a POI with no structural inducement. Alright, this is source, so make note. Alright, if we have POI, yeah, here's our POI, like that. This is our POI. Supply POI. There we go. Right, we have a POI. What do you want to see? You want to see liquidity, don't you? You want to see liquidity. It has no liquidity within the leg. You want to see liquidity engineered, or well, ask yourself this before you get into any trade: has liquidity been taken? You come up, it's not as high probability. It could come down. You could just set a limit like this, and it could come down. It could work, but it's not as high probability. Has liquidity been taken here? No. It's just created liquidity. It's not taken anything, it's just mitigated and dropped. It hasn't taken any liquidity. So, for example, with this is when, like, you say about a fake chock or something, which, to be honest, is just a Wyckoff distribution or accumulation with a UA or a minus sign of weakness. You want to see, like this, right? Chock. Everyone's selling. What is created now? What is created? Liquidity above this high. Why? People are going to be trying to sell. They see this break. They're trying to sell. Where's the liquidity now? It's being engineered above this high. What you'll see them do a few times as well is they'll come up like that, engineer a bit more liquidity, and then they'll take them out. That's what you want to see. If there's no structural liquidity within a leg, then you want to see liquidity actually be taken. So, bang, safest bet here. Some people do this. They go up here and then they see. Obviously, I'm seeing this as liquidity to be taken, and they'll take, say, like the first order flow shift like that to get down. Which is fair enough, you know. Depending on the situation, I might do that, but your safest bet is to wait for the actual chock then, because this could have just been a sweep of that for higher pricing like that if it wanted to, because if there's no structural liquidity within the leg, then they could be using this as liquidity, you know. And this could just be the fuel. This could just be the fuel to move up to grab this high. To grab the liquidity there, rather than using this high and then breaking down. So the safest option when you see a fake chock is to wait for the actual fake chock and not try and anticipate this to be a fake chock. So once you get the fake chock, then, for example, if we had like a 1 minute POI or something, either set your limit like that. Liquidity's been taken, so I don't necessarily need to see liquidity within this leg. Maybe like a flip or something would be nice, but if you have like a POI or something anywhere here, I'd just set my limit like that. Or if you wanna be extra skilled about it, you could always confirm, say, your 1 minute zone with a 5 second chock, or if this is a 5 second zone, then you could come up and just wait for order flow realignment to be like that. Order flow, it's messy, let me get rid of that. You could just wait for order flow realignment, come down like that. But I mean, taking that first one, you know, you see liquidity engineered into the market. Or second situation, second scenario, you can you want to see, like I said, instead of a fake chock, but you want to see like equal highs or something, you know, equal highs being created, maybe like a bit of a supply chain forming, taken out, bang, like that. Liquidity engineered into the market, Where's the liquidity now? It's here, it's here, it's here. It's engineered, and what do? They break. Then you can play it. Either way, I don't just want to come up, see straight chalk and flip. Don't want to see that. I want to see liquidity engineered into the market. And going off of that example, I'll go to the same zone that we was at earlier. Here, flip. Here's our POI with no inducement, no structural liquidity. What happens? Liquidity is now created for this POI. This POI is valid. What do I want to see? I want to see this high being taken and order flow realignment. Order flow realigns here. Bang, 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 bang. Like that. Liquidity taken into a POI and order flow realignment. That is all you need. That is all you need. Giving this shit out for free. I mean, man, like people, there's like 5 people watching right now, and I'm literally giving out what fucking Hustle and other people claim to cost fucking thousands, you know. It's a crazy world. They're all good traders though. They're really good. Take a lot of inspiration from all of them lot. All the Hustle, Fractal, a lot of them, yeah. Anyway, right. Anyone got any more questions? If not, I am dipping. I'm gone. Because these live streams help me as well. They help me talk through stuff, you know, speak my mind. Cool, Big Mike, Captain, I see you in the chat. You're fucking making my stream today. Thank you for everything. You gotta go now. Weekend. Cool, man. Alright, yeah. Have a good weekend, everyone. I am gonna dip. I'm going dip. So, yeah. Enjoy your weekends. We'll be back on Monday. Might do a little Sunday night analysis live stream. Yeah. Anyway. Au revoir.